Hey guys, today we're taking a look at the new McFarlane DC Multiverse Superman from Hush. Let's get a better look at that packaging, shall we? Here we are up close and personal with the packaging. We of course have the contents of the figure right here, all that good stuff. 12 plus right there, McFarlane Toys logo up there, 22 moving parts. And of course on the bottom we have the DC Multiverse logo right here, the Superman nameplate in the white, because this is not the collector Action Comics debut Superman. I didn't really care for that figure. I wanted this one. But we also have the decal for 85 years of Superman. Wow, that's amazing. Good on Superman. Of course we have the nameplate of Superman here with the little ad from the DC Universe app, which probably pulls up the comic where Batman fights Superman in Hush, I'm assuming. But then you also have DC Multiverse logo right there. On the back we have the pencils of Jim Lee's Superman, which looks pretty cool since this figure already came out with some vines and an angry face, and I didn't really want that. I don't like my Superman being angry. But we also have Superman from Hush right there, McFarlane Toys logo right there, and of course another ad for DC Universe Infinite. And of course we have the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for McFarlane Toys. Follow them on all of there. They're actually very good, and they actually keep the fans decently updated about their releases and stuff like that. Very good on them. And then also you have Superman from Hush. You have the gigantic Superman 85 logo. Good for Superman. Wow, I can't believe he's been around for 85 years. And of course you have McFarlane Toys down there. And then this weird sticker thing. And on the bottom, you of course have the Superman legalese, all that good stuff, and the barcode for all you barcode hunters out there. Alright guys, let's get this dude out of the packaging. Here is our new Superman from Hush, straight out of the packaging. And overall, I think this figure looks pretty great. I'm a huge Jim Lee fan in terms of just the art. I love Jim Lee's art, so this was a pickup regardless if I like the figure or not. I love Jim Lee's art. But let's get into the different things that the character comes with. So first of all, we have the card. And yeah, it has the pencils from Jim Lee, just like the back of the packaging. You of course have the Superman name from the Hush comic. And then of course you have a standard bio on Superman right there. And yeah, Hush is a Batman comic. So yeah, basically how Superman is in a Batman comic, I'll tell you. So basically what happens is that Hush is trying to mess with Batman, and he's employing all of his villains, etc., etc. And that leads him to Ivy, and Ivy's doing some stuff in Metropolis and ends up using her pheromones infused with kryptonite on Superman, and Superman and Batman have a big fight, and it's awesome. It's an excuse for Jeff Loeb to be like, hey, let's make Superman and Batman fight. But I still think Jim Lee's art is absolutely amazing. If you haven't read what's the Superman for Tomorrow, I think that's the Jim Lee Superman book that he did with Brian Azzarello. That book, I think the story's kind of lacking in that book. It's not one of my favorites, but the art is absolutely killer. And this is definitely Jim Lee's Superman. The sculpt and everything is exactly like that. But we also have something I haven't come across in a while. And we need more of these, actually, in figures, or if Todd will just release these. Absolutely fantastic. He comes with a flight stand. McFarlane flight stand, which, of course, has the DC logo in there, and is just a clearer version of the actual single peg, the hockey puck, but a little bigger. but it's basically the same kind of overall design of the hockey puck. But yeah, it comes in 2 pieces, and you just insert the tab into there. You hear a nice click, and it's all set for you. And you, of course, have the arm, which is nice and ratchety, so it won't fail on you. I unfortunately do have a loose one in my collection, but it came like that, so it is what it is. So be on the lookout for that. But I love these stands. They actually work very well. But unfortunately, yeah, I've got a lot of my stands in precarious places, so unfortunately I don't get to show them off much. But here's the flight stand. It's pretty cool. I love these stands. And then he comes with a pair of interchangeable hands. He comes with kind of relaxed hands, which I think is a nice addition for Superman. Because, you know, Superman doesn't punch people all the time, you know. And just to have him gracefully flying upward or something like that, these hands really do help. So I'm glad they included a change of hands for Superman. But let's get a look at the actual figure. So I'm telling you right off the bat, because the first thing I did when I got him out of the packaging was look at my Superman and see what body this was. And it's the infected body. How can you tell? The logo, the triangle dips a little weirdly on the infected body, and it is like that. And I made sure that it was the infected body straight up. It, like, not any new legs or anything like that. So this is the infected body. It's a repaint, but the head is really what you're in for it for. And I think the head looks really good. It's got a very chiseled kind of structure. Even though he doesn't have the curl on this side, you can kind of say that that's the curl, but overall, I like the head. He's still a little too angry. Like, he's kind of like this would be a great Bruce Wayne head. And it's kind of sad, but yeah, this is a great Bruce Wayne head. Which is mad unfortunate, but besides that, I think it's overall a decent head. It has, you know, it surprisingly doesn't have any blue highlights, which is what we see normally with McFarlane and black hair, but this looks like it's a fully jet black hair right there, and you have all the locks in there. But yeah, straight up infected body. You of course have a little thingy right there, and he still has the oversized hands, which don't look as bad on infected as they do characters like Shazam, who is egregious. But he still has the oversized hands, and let's see what the other one looks like. And I know I'm using the wrong hand, but yikes! Actually, that's not too bad. I wanted to react negatively just so I had something to criticize. But it's not too bad, but extended hands are always a problem for McFarlane. Basically any hands that don't come on the figure are usually too big, but again, not egregious. And let's get that on there. There we are. I'm so scared after the Alan Scott that I don't want to break any more wrist pegs. And yeah, we of course have the classic Superman. We have the belt and the trunks. Love me the belt and the trunks. All the way around, absolutely fantastic. And then you of course have the nice red boots. I don't think there's any paint defects on here. None of the lines are messed up or nothing like that, except you got a little bit of the sleeves, but that's kind of whatever. And then you also have a new cape, which this is my favorite Superman cape. It's oozes Superman in terms of, like, it's a windswept cape, yes, but there's something about having the actual S on the back of the cape that I just love about Superman. I get it, the full-on red's just cool, but I love having the S on the cape. It gives it some, I don't know, it gives it some more pizzazz. And of course, the windswept look makes it ideal for something like, let me just look at how much presence that gives. That absolutely looks amazing with a windswept cape like that. This man is made for the flight stand. Which is why I wish Todd actually released more characters with flight stands, like Green Lanterns. What? But, again, yes, great presence. But, let's get into the articulation. We, of course, have, double ball peg, head right here. He hinges up about that far, down about that far. You can rotate all the way around, head pivot, all of that jazz. You, of course, have the armpit joints right there, moving nice and free. You have, of course, hinged shoulders, and rotate all around as well. Bicep swivel. You can see a bit of gappage right there, so that is noticeable, unfortunately. You also have the double jointed elbows, which move in very far. I like that, but that gash doesn't look as good. And there's also a bit of discoloration, not too much, but a little, but noticeable discoloration. It doesn't show up as much on the camera as it does in real life, so be aware of that. But you can still tell it's there. And then you, of course, have the famous McFarlane ball hinge joints, which you can rotate, move side to side, ball, rotate again, twist, and do roll the dice hinge like so. Love these wrist joints. They're absolutely the best part about McFarlane figures, hands down for me. And then also has decent amount of range in the torso. He does not crunch forward at all. This is not a character you're going to want to have like getting hit or something like that. He hinges back very far. That's mad unfortunate, but you know, because of the buck that this is, it's pretty outdated, so that sucks. But you of course have the ball. You of course have the standard McFarlane legs right there. You have thigh pivot right there. You have double jointed knees, which look pretty good. And then you of course have the legs, which hinge down and up, and you can get the joint to rotate if you hold on to it, like the fear of God. And of course you have pivot and toe articulation. Here we are with a buck comparison. We of course have our new Hush Superman with our older infected Superman. And yeah, like I was saying before, the dip in the S and the lines on the legs, just overall a complete repaint. No ifs, ands, or buts. But you can tell this Superman infected with Joker toxin could turn into this. So that's pretty cool that they finally put a Superman on the infected Superman book. Just wish it wasn't so late in the game with this book. Here he is with some Superman adjacent characters. We of course have Walmart exclusive Eradicator, and then Ultraman from the Ultraman Wave. And then we, of course, have Hush Superman there. And Superboy Prime from, I believe, a few years ago. Maybe even... Yeah, I think he's coming up on being a year old pretty soon. But these guys look fantastic together. You could totally throw something together with these four together, and they wouldn't look really strange. Besides that huge cut in Ultraman's chest. We are with some Superman baddies here. We have, unfortunately, the only Darkseid available, the Snyder Cut Darkseid. We also have Mongol right there, and of course Lex Luthor. And again, you could make these two work. You could. You really could. But I'd argue stick with these and let him fight Henry Cavill. And here is all the Superman I have in my collection, minus Ultraman, because he's not really Superman, but he's the evil Superman archetype. You get the message. But here's, of course, we have Black Lantern Superman right there, Infected Superman, classic Action Comics 1000, Henry Cavill, and Red Sun right there. And I can't tell which one is better here between Action Comics and Infected. I mean, Hush, where, like, I don't think you can do wrong with Action Comics. I think it's a great buck. It's just the fact that we've progressed so far forward within the line that he's kind of been left behind, and he's very stiff and very awkward to stand. You can see those egregious joints, and I think he just kind of got left in the dust. But he has the perfect build for Superman. The cape is right. Like, everything is right about Action Comics. But over here you have the better mobility. You have the okay head sculpt. I don't know. I still think in terms of purely aesthetic wise, I still think Action Comics is better, even though both of these are hard to stand. And I mean, I know I reviewed on a card table, but like, these two, and that's the problem with the earlier part of the line, is the fact that you were never able to stand them because where you needed to put the joints is right in between one of the things that makes it ratchet. So unfortunately, it kind of puts it back in my estimation. But besides that, I think Action Comics is going to be dethroned, unfortunately. But Hush Superman is still quite the successor with it. Of course, could not put Hush Superman next to Hush Batman. Jim Lee Superman versus Jim Lee Batman. And these guys look absolutely fantastic together, especially getting this man up on a flight stand, hovering overhead. That would just look so cool. Just like, so good. Love this cape. Absolutely. Cannot say enough about this pairing. I just love Jim Lee's art so much, and these figures definitely bring it to life. Alright guys, so that'll do it for this review of Superman from Hush. And overall, I quite like this figure just because of the shelf presence. Like, that cape gives so much dynamicism for like a flight pose or something like that. Like, the fact that it took us to have a flight stand was for Todd to release another Superman is ridiculous. He should have released flight stands with all the Green Lanterns. Basically any character who has a history of flying. Shazam, Captain Atom. Like, the fact that he's only releasing them with Superman, not even the Superman-related characters like Eradicator, is a crime within itself. But, I mean, he definitely knocked it out of the park with putting a flight stand with this Superman right here. I guess that's something. But overall with the figure, I think this figure is largely a reminder of how things used to be with McFarlane. Unfortunately, he can't stand that well. The ankles are very iffy. You have to kind of have one ankle moving far back and one moving pretty far forward, and he's always kind of leaning whenever you stand him. So, unfortunately, that kind of sucks. But hey, he's got a flight stand. And he comes with extra hands. Also, like I said, the cape, iconic. And the paint scheme, I think, is perfect. And the head, I think, is pretty good. So, would I recommend this figure? Yes. Do I think it should be the de facto Superman? Absolutely not. I've been in need of an updated Superman since Action Comics. Action Comics has been the head of my Justice League shelf for quite a while. So I'm happy to finally get a more modern, classic Superman. and I love Jim Lee, so this was a no-brainer. But still, just release the Page Punchers Superman with this kind of paint scheme. Gangbusters. Absolutely gangbusters. Todd knows what he's doing, but it's unfortunately against the action figure collector at large, unfortunately. But if I had to give him a rating, I'd give him 6. He's a good figure. But there's nothing that really makes it go, I need to add this to my collection. Even with 7s, it's like, I should get this. With this, it's kind of like, I just needed a more modern Superman, so I happened to get him. So, that's really that, unfortunately. This is kind of a dud, mainly because it's just a repaint, but it is what it is. But, of course, let me know what you think in the comments down below about this figure. Love to hear what you guys say about anything involving McFarlane DC Multiverse. And, of course, like and also subscribe. And, of course, keep collecting and be kind to one another out there, all that good stuff. I will catch you guys in the next video, which should be Robin. Robin, guys. I got the 2-pack. It's Robin. But I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.